recording is up, and then same as per usual, just be a minute or so while I'm looking for something to talk about. Alright. We're playing Genji. Alright, so we push forwards immediately here. Accidentally got hit by a Hanzo arrow. Just keep your eyes open for him there. Not much else besides just looking for him there that we can change. We get the deflect. Now there's an issue here, and that is that we kind of overstay our welcome after we're deflecting. I would probably either try to do a 180 and dash out to your team, or just probably easier would be to dash out to the left here, because now we're in this super dangerous position where we're 80 HP, and what we do is we walk up right next to the Reinhardt. If Reinhardt turns and swings here, we die, right? Like, there's just nothing we can really do about it, and our whole team is all the way back here. So this probably could be a very easy kill on us. So I probably just use the dash to disengage. Oh, and then also, sorry, the additionally, it probably, because it's in a 180 on console, just to the left there might be the easier one as well.
Yeah, I do have max end, so it is decently fast to 180 now, but yeah, you can see all these.
So you said that you're like this is currently working on any sensitivity?
Well, I don't know where my aim goes wrong. Like, what goes wrong in my predictions? It seems like it's very inconsistent, and I never know why.
Okay, couple things I would ask. So, firstly, do you warm up before you hop in the comp games?
I've started. I had warmed up. I think I've played at least one or two. No, that may have been my first, but I did do warm up. I have an aim trainer that's like bots, but it is an aim trainer design. We're working on aim
for like a code, workshop code.
Yeah, it's one Necros uses.
So
yeah.
This is my opinion on aim trainers. So I don't think that aim trainers are particularly bad. In fact, I think that they can be very beneficial. But I also think that they primarily get a lot of their value out of like they kind of add to the raw mechanics, and it also at the same time, I think that there's better options out there that are more realistic to gameplay, because when you're doing an aim trainer, a lot of the times you're not working with real movement. If you're talking about the bots one that I think you might be talking, I don't know if are you talking about the Blade one or no?
No, it's
Okay, it's a different one.
A9 FBX, and it's like they actually like move all around, they jump, they etc. Like they're all over.
Even at the same time, they do follow a set pattern and a track, if you will, and it's not realistic to what an actual player would be, how they would be moving. And there's other issues, such as you're not under any pressure. You yourself, there's no incentive for you to move in a lot of different aim trainers. So there's a lack of depth in that sense. There's no abilities and ultimates coming your direction. There's no it's not a duel. You don't have to worry about your own ability usage at all. It overall is just very unrealistic to actual gameplay. Whereas my recommendation might be to do like a try hard free for all. You can search for those in custom games, and they're pretty much almost always open. And that the difference would be that you're still focused on aim. There's no teammates to worry about. There's no objectives. You can put your 100% focus on your aim, but then you also can practice your dueling and practice how you're using your abilities and practice how you are outthinking your opponents, because opponents are going to actually be thinking about how to beat you, and they're going to have more realistic aim and movement. So overall, I don't think aim trainers are a bad option, but I would probably recommend a tryhard free-for-all over an aim trainer. That'd be my recommendation. You can also fit them in a bit easier, since you can just do it while in queues and whatnot. But that's nothing major. So how long do you typically do that for?
10-15 minutes.
All right, that's all fine. Once again, if you just do like free for alls, like, or another good one is like 1v1 arena.
Mhm.
Like you can do those sorts of things, and it's you can fit them in between queues, and then that's even more practice time on your aim and whatnot. So I'd put the practice in. Um, so let's analyze this a little bit. Um, yeah, it looks like we're swinging past a lot in a lot of these cases, which may, I mean, it's hard as well because it is. Oh, I skipped there. Um, yeah, I would say it just needs practice and intentionality behind it. Make sure that you're just here when you're this close to somebody. You just want to aim straight at them. Don't worry about predicting where they're moving when you're on top of them. That's just the nature of how projectiles work. You don't have to do any prediction work if you're an inch away from them. And then the further away you go, then you start to lead your shots. But yeah, I guess that would be it for the moment on that.
The point is mine. Welcome to join me.
Have we talked previously on crosshair placement at all?
Um, I don't believe on crosshair placement. No,
Okay. Have you heard of that term before?
like trying to aim for the head, or like
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's the basics of it, right? It's essentially for crosshair placement. Crosshair placement is essentially it's a way to aim, right? It's aiming that makes aiming easy, right? It's using your brain to help your aim out. And the very simple, like the most simple version of crosshair placement is to aim for the head, because headshots do two times damage to body shots. Essentially, for most characters, you're gonna be doing two times damage, and two times damage is a lot better than one times damage, right? It's that you would have to miss over two times the shots for it to not be worth it to go for headshots. So when it comes to landing headshots, if you're aiming down here, which is where you were aiming, especially on console where there's even more difficulty in adjusting, if you're having to adjust up and to the side to hit headshots, well, that just makes headshots so difficult to land. But if you're already aiming at head level, then they just become much more natural as you're moving around. So let's say you're just going throughout your business, you're spamming down a corridor, shooting into shields and tanks, but you're aiming at body level. Well, now you just naturally hit body shots, right? That's just where you're aiming. But if you just aim at head level, well, now you turn corners and you do the exact same stuff, and now you're just naturally gonna hit these headshots because you're just already aiming there. So it makes it very easy to land headshots when you're just setting them up for yourself. Does that make sense?
yeah, I think what I was doing was I was worried because of how many I missed the Hanzo, and it looked like it was above him every time. That I was like, I'm gonna aim lower because I've been aiming way too high. So I was like, at least get the guaranteed hits and try not to die.
Yeah, I think so. I don't. I mean, we can relook at it. I don't think that it was high every time. We can double check that. I think that might have been because like he's climbing in that one, but I don't know if it was high every time. And then also you just want to make sure that you're not overcompensating and going in the wrong direction, right? Because you can, yes, 100%, it is bad to aim high. It's probably worse to aim too high, but it's also still bad to aim too low, right? So don't overcompensate and go in the opposite direction with it. I think that's... Oh, also, another part to cross replacement is aiming where you know they're going to be. This, once again, makes it so that there's less movement involved, less need to move. So if we know bot's on right side, we can pre-aim at head level right around the corner here, so that when the bot turns the corner, we're already aiming at their head, and it's just very easy shots, very little adjustment needed. Same thing here, we know bot's on the left, so we can pre-aim looking at head level like already as we're turning that corner. That just makes those shots super easy. These guys are on a little bit more of a slope, so the same way we look down on a Torb and up on a tank, we're going to look down on these guys so that when we turn the corner, we're just already aiming at their head. Right? Just make shots much, much easier, and therefore will firstly lead to more headshots, and then also just more shots in general. That'll make sense?
Yes.
Traveling to Nepal. Ready for battle. The objective.
Yeah, I don't know if all these were over him. The first one was over him. That was below. That one's over. Those two were just next to him, floor, over him, under him, over. It's just all around them, to be honest. Over him, under him, or I mean, that one hit him. So I wouldn't necessarily say it was all over, anyways. But then you can see as we turn this corner here, we're just kind of aiming at the floor, right at his knees. Now we do adjust up a little bit, but once again, it's just the unnecessary adjustment that we need to do, and then we're also once again at the body level. Okay, good kill. Request healing when you're low. I think we discussed that. Pretty sure.
We
Right?
did. I try to. In the heat of the moment, it is hard because I have to push the down on the D-pad, right on the right stick. Try not to look away while I'm pressing it.
Yeah.
I do try to hit it more.
Is there a button that you're able to bind it to that you don't need to do all of that?
Might be able to. I might be able to switch crouch because I have my R3 as toggle crouch so that I can.
Yeah. Or like even what about like one of your pad buttons, right? Like you have the 4 directional ones, right?
Yeah, I think one is switch and one is like switch weapons, and I think which wouldn't go for Genji. So yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's just throwing out the option because it makes it the difference between having to go through the wheel and just pressing the button.
Yeah.
Oh, what's jumping into that?
Yeah.
Okay. When you get aggro like this and you're stepping in, just you don't necessarily need to. I guess we do push forwards. No, never mind. I'll take it back. I was just gonna say sometimes you can just stand still, and that just makes it easier for them to shoot you. But we were trying to push past the shield, I think maybe.
Yeah. I was like, if I can get some damage past Ryan, because I saw I was 89 to alt, so I was like, maybe I can get it enough to get alt.
Yeah. In this situation, right? Honestly, where's her team at right now? Because we're down to Lucio.
Third. Yeah, they're all over the place. And I didn't want to push in because I didn't see a team, so I was like, I'm not going to alt here either way, but I wanted it for the fight.
Here, we could probably get it off of just like dashing like that, right? We could probably just dash right here and get blade off of it and to get in a decent bit of damage. There we go.
I think I do off here, yeah. When I did get out, I didn't want to die.
So here, firstly, we missed the first slash, right? Just making sure we're acquiring the target. Because he leaps, we missed the first slash, right? We get the kill. Also, add in dashes between your slashes so that when you only need 2 slashes, right? But what the dashing does here is it means that we get an extra damage as well as mobility. So the mobility helps keep us alive so we don't get headshot by Hanzo or or Junkrat. It mixes up our movement, makes it harder for them to hit us. It also means that we get an extra damage. So if they got healed, if they got any types of shielding, if it's somebody with extra health, such as a tank or even just like McCree or something like that, then that means that if we add in the extra dash, then that does some extra damage. So overall here, rather than just slash, I'd maybe add in some dashes.
Yeah, I was under 100 health, so I kind of like backed up. I figured Moira was in there, and
I would maybe, you don't necessarily have to overstay your welcome, but you probably could have gotten an extra slash on Moira and then dashed out after that. Because remember, dash is just an immediate exit, right? It's just an instant get out of jail free. Ooh. Almost nice deflect. What is Sigma doing?
this I thought was a good idea, and then failed.
Alright, so I don't
Stay
think
away
that
from
that
the Moira.
idea was bad. We get the kill, but there's some issues with the disengagement, right? So issue number one, we're disengaging slowly, because watch how we wait and we wait and we wait and we wait, and then we dash out and we're already 73 HP, right?
Yeah, I debated on fighting the Lucio, and then I realized there was a Moira.
Yeah, so
Oh.
then our awareness needs to be making sure we're keeping our ears and eyes open and we're looking around and we're watching respawns and we're just paying attention because we can't just engage this. Your awareness directly impacts your aggression, right? It has to, because if you don't know what the heck is happening around you, then you can't properly know when to go and when to back out, right? So here, being aware of Moira and Lucio dictates how fast we disengage. We disengage faster here, they can't see us. Also, once we disengage, we accidentally hit the wall, the roof, which stops our distance. We run in this room. Look to kind of dodge around these corners a bit better. So like when Moore's coming in, get around this corner and just like use the corners to your advantage, so that you're just getting out of line of sight and stuff like that. The main thing, I probably see the primary thing, was that we overstayed.
Keep them from the
Yeah, I am trying to work on awareness. I have like bad like ADD, so I'm like working on like getting medicated for it. So I know my like awareness, especially with like hearing things, is like horrible. Like I can never tell when somebody's behind me.
I think we've talked about that, right? And this is I don't know if console has the same surround sound options unless you have a good headset.
It doesn't. We mentioned I have a good headset,
You do have a good
but
headset.
even I played with the controls, and I think I'm on the best optional ones, and it still I even try on like PC. And it's just I can't hear them. I have like music turned as far down as I can, and I try to keep like subtitles up or like other stuff up, but like telling whether it's an enemy hog, our hog, etc. is like impossible for me.
Which they do have different footstep sounds, I believe, like where they will sound different, and additionally, I believe enemy footsteps are louder than teammate footsteps. So if I'm not mistaken, because it gets a little bit hard in that area in that regard, because it's just I've played so much that it's just kind of ingrained within me, and I don't really think about it. But if I'm not mistaken, enemy footsteps are different and louder.
Yeah, I mean, I have 700 hours on DPS. I would have thought I would be decent at hearing things by now. But,
I am victorious this time, brother.
Okay, don't jump when it is not advantageous whatsoever, right? So this is just spam jumping. So here, watch how we're just jumping as we're shooting at the hog. But the purpose, what is the purpose of you jumping as Genji? In a lot of cases, your purpose is mobility and survivability. Your additional...
I'm like random Hanzo headshot. I was like, the more I'm moving, the more I'm jumping, the less likely Hanzo is gonna RNG me.
Which you had just killed Hanzo as one thing. Secondly, the other thing is that, once again, getting back to awareness, if you're aware that they're not near you, then there's no need to. And then additionally, most characters in the game can't double jump either. And yet they, you get around not getting headshot by having better ground movement, right? Of a AD strafing, going left and right as you're and zigzagging as you're walking and stuff like that, instead of just running in a straight line. But my point here is that when we're jumping up and down, that means now our crosshair has to adjust not just left and right, but then also up and down. So now we've basically more than doubled our difficulty in landing our shots when we're doing that, right?
So jump less.
Not in all cases. Don't jump when you don't need to jump. Right? When it's when there's absolutely nobody near us or looking at us, then I mean we can just zoom out here. Who's looking at you?
Nobody.
Nobody, right? So there's just not a reason to, and therefore it's just going to throw off our shots. Okay, once again, just aiming up a little bit higher because he's a tank. Okay. If we get shattered, that's rough. Though, make sure that you're watching the Reinhardt and we kind of just walk into his hammer swings. Whereas we probably could have backed and deflected, like backed up and deflected, but we kind of walked into him. So, just not tunnel visioning on who we're shooting at.
And then this guy is a Smurf. The Zen is a Smurf. But I was trying to kill him.
Okay.
I don't want to put blame on being a Smurf, but he was.
Okay.
And I think I died to him here.
Okay. Well, currently there is. Let's watch it. Let's see how it goes. Yeah. Okay. So currently there's an issue here. What would you say the issue is?
The issue was target priority.
Target priority. So we go for the Lucio. Right.
And
So
then,
maybe issue you're gonna present, but I'd say there's an even more major issue here.
My team's not there.
Yeah, you're missing your, half your team because firstly, you're engaging when your team is not engaging, which means what happens? Oh, their entire team can turn and look at you, right? They can have Lucio, Hog, Zen, Reinhardt, Junkrat. Every single person looks at you, right? Genji, every single person looks at you, right? That's because we engaged without them. Additionally, we're down a player, and both of our tanks were still walking back. They weren't even in line of sight of the fight yet, right? So this is just too early. Give it another 5 seconds, and then maybe you can go in. But at the moment, we should be doing nothing more than repositioning and poking. And maybe if we see a great opportunity, then we can engage. Okay.
Yeah, I was out of dash range there. I realized after I dashed, I was like, it's close, and then I was like, no, it's not.
Yeah, and then we're also just continuing to stay engaged when we're just very heavily contested by 5, 6 people.
Yeah, I didn't notice the Genji there. I did completely miss him.
And the other, 4 people shooting at us.
When I died with Blade, I did try to get the Zen again. I was like, I'm gonna wait the beat out. And then as I dashed and did it, I got hit with a junk vine. It was really bad timing.
Okay, so firstly, while we're waiting the beat out, we can probably just grab the health pack right here. So that we are full HP. Is something we can do?
Health pack right by me. I know where a lot of health packs are. I didn't realize that one was there.
Well, now you know. Yep. So health pack there. Also, you can be requesting healing. Let's see what else is there here.
And then yeah, I think as I pressed triangle, I got hit. Yeah. I had already pressed it.
So that's rough that we get hit by Junkrat spam there. Because it looks like he's spamming possibly before he even sees us.
Yeah.
And then we also end up dashing past him.
I've been trying to work on the jump dash down towards him.
Yeah.
I am trying to fine tune that.
And you feel like it's been working a little bit better?
Yes. As long as I can hit the headshots when I'm jumping on them, and then dash, it has worked a lot better.
Hmm.
It's just I do miss a lot of those jumping headshots straight down into dash.
Yeah.
But and it's usually on a soldier. Yeah, these straight downs and straight up I have trouble with.
Yeah, I mean it is more difficult for everybody. Just dash in the spawn real quick. No reason to run around on 20 HP.
Overtime.
Yeah, I don't think we got it. I think I immediately died anyway.
Yeah, I mean at that point the fight's pretty much lost, so not much to go off of there. But yeah, definitely I would agree with you that mechanics is looking like a major thing to work on, because we do end up missing a lot of shots that
Yeah.
definitely could be helping if we were hitting.
Yeah, I've noticed. It's just I don't know where to fine tune it to like change it because you need the sensitivity. And I did switch back to dual zone, so I have the smaller area and the bigger area.
Yeah.
But
When it comes to specifically settings with console, I'm kind of oblivious since I've never played console. So I would probably just look up if you might have already done that, but I'd probably just look up YouTube videos and see like what have the other Genji players on console done, because I know there have historically been lots of good console Genji players that
mhm.
eventually most of them transition to PC. But I know that there have been good Genji console players, so just look up, what were their settings that they were on.
I have been trying to like look them up, and I see linear, dual zone. I see like a bunch of different, and I do kind of like linear, but it's kind of like I'll call it kind of like mouse aim, where no matter how fast you move it, it's gonna move the same speed every time.
Yep.
Dual zone is like there's two zones. One has a smaller reactivity. Outside of that is like your full sensitivity. So it's
Mhm.
like a um, like you might have 30 or 40% sensitivity in the zone, and outside is full. And I see so much different recommendations for it, and I've been trying to
Yep.
tweak them. But it's
I would just mess around with it yourself. If they are not in a consensus, then I would just mess around it with yourself and feel like which one do I prefer. It's really all you can do if different people disagree on it.
I generally like linear, except to have full sensitivity at all times. I can turn quick, but then my aim's off, and I can either turn it down and not be able to dash quicker or dash out or 180 quicker. Um, but it's kind of like a major give, and a lot of people say go max sensitivity on linear, and then my aim's really off anyway.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it would just need, like, with anything, it just needs practice to adjust to it. So I would, as of the moment, I would just say practice, practice, practice. Do you recall, like, in the past sessions, what have we talked about in terms of application?
Um,
Like,
uh,
how do you apply the things we talked about? How do you practice and improve?
so I consciously try to think of like, okay, where should I be positioning? Am I staying on our team? Am I off angling? Um, that's a big one I try to work on is not staying with the team too much.
Yeah,
Um,
I was. So the question was like the how, like how it does improve. So and that's exactly right. Is it's consciously thinking about it and focusing on the thing you're trying to work on. So if you're trying to work on positioning, then actively like giving yourself a reminder and thinking, positioning, team, team,
mhm,
team. That's going to be the way to create the good habit. Then once you create that habit, then you can move on to something else because it just comes more naturally. And then also just as that reminder, don't try to do too many different things all at the same time. One
mhm.
category or 1 to 3 smaller things within the category. And
I
then,
think I try to do everything at once. I'm like,
yep.
all right, positioning awareness,
Hmm.
alt usage. I need to be here for alt.
Yep.
I need to not do this for alt.
Nope.
Yeah, it's the ADD thing.
Yeah.
My focus just goes all over the place on that.
Yeah, and like to go more in depth on that, you don't want to do all that because then you're never really like that's not any different, right? You're just that you should constantly be thinking about that stuff, but you want to put more of your attention into it. And it's not 100% of your brain power because then you would forget how to move and and shoot and do everything basic. But it is a good chunk of your brain power. So think of it like you have your brain and you have 100% of your brain. You're putting like 50% into the thing you're trying to work on, so like mechanics, not 100% but like 50%, and then the rest of the 50% you can portion out to everything else to where you're kind of autopiloting on everything else as you intentionally focus on mechanics. Then as your mechanics improve and you form the habits and the muscle memory, then you can put the mechanics on muscle memory and on autopilot and work on something else, and that will gradually increase your gameplay when you're doing that. And something else to consider is that you can focus on multiple things if they're vastly different in their timings and applications. So, for example, mechanics is something you are doing all the time, right? You are constantly shooting, but something like ultimate usage, well, you're only ulting what once for 10 seconds, or sorry, 6 seconds on Genji, but let's just say 10 seconds. Let's say you're ulting for 10 seconds every 2 minutes, right? That is very specifically timed, so it doesn't really interfere with your normal generic mechanics, right? So you could focus on both of those, but you could not do mechanics and positioning because positioning is also a constant, and you can't do mechanics and awareness because awareness is a constant, right? So you can add in those like here and there things, but you can't do ones that overlap drastically. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, just make sure you're intentionally focusing. It's looking as though one of the major parts of the session is going to be mechanics because just, we could go through a fight and it's looking like we're probably missing like 6 out of 10 shots or something.
I have like 30-40%
Yeah.
accuracy. I can
Mhm.
actually check my settings right now.
Yep.
And I think it's average is 33. So yeah.
Mhm. Okay, nice.
The objective is now
Oh, gotta watch for those traps. Team comp dictates playstyle, right? Every time they're on a different team comp, we gotta think about different things. Good.
Mentioned that last time I think was comp dictates playstyle.
Yep. And this is another one of those instances where they have a Junkrat, gotta watch for traps. You never ever gotta watch for traps ever unless they got a Junkrat. But once you see they're on a Junkrat, well, now we gotta look at the floor, right? Mercy. Never ever ever do you ever need to watch dead bodies unless they have mercy. Now you gotta pay attention to dead bodies so that you don't end reses, so you don't let mercy get away with reses for free. So just team comp dictates how you play the game. So you want to make sure you're just keeping an eye out for that, and then watching for the trap, and then not dashing directly into the trap when it's right there.
Yeah, I was trying to get the Lucio with the combo. I missed my shot. That was not very good.
I'll take the objective.
I should have went for the mercy there.
Yeah, target priority, right? Focusing on Brian a little too much. Okay. Okay, nicely beated. Okay. Probably should be looking for a blade, but we're kind of focusing on hog for some reason, right? Once again, target priority. We've talked in depth on that before, right?
I didn't see the other people because of the mayor wall.
Yeah, but we also have been hearing and seeing them this entire fight where we can see you can see your teammates who they're shooting at. Like you can hear May throws a freeze on right. You can see May is freezing people over there. You can hear that they're all shooting. You can see you can see your whole team's running right side. Right? You can hear that the Lucio beats over there. Your Mercy dies over there. Right? Then we can see in kill feed that there's kills going. You know, Mercy we saw the Junkrat, oh sorry, Junkrat just died. We saw our Mercy die, and I think someone died before that. And then we go, huh? There's people dying, and I'm on left side, and I don't see anybody. Where could they possibly be? Right? So there's just a bazillion different things we can think through to find out that they're on right side here. And then we can see Mercy and Reinhardt on our screen here, and Genji on our screen, and we can hear Genji go for Blade. Arisa goes for Bongo. With this, that would probably be a perfect time to combo. What does Bongo do for your Blade?
30% damage.
What
Um,
break points does that change?
That would make it so it's a slash and dash.
Yep. As opposed to a double slash, right? And
Mhm.
if we get Mercy to damage boost us as well, or sorry, Mercy's dead currently. But if we did get Mercy to damage boost us on top of that, I believe we would one slash, right?
That is impossible in this rank.
To get
I have
Mercy
tried bombing. I have tried, yeah. Unless I have my good friend who plays with me sometimes, who plays Mercy, it doesn't happen.
Alright.
Even Nano Blade's impossible.
Do you firstly, I mean, are you able to on console check who's in chat?
Yeah, I try to check that. If not, I try to type it,
Mhm.
or I'll look at her, like
Do
before a
you
fight. My ult is ready. My ult is ready. My ult is ready.
Mhm.
And then I have an I'm ready, to try and
Yep. So
ready.
when you calm, do you do that before the fight begins as well?
Well, usually if they're in chat, yes, I go, hey,
Yeah.
let's hit a fight. Um, I do try that, or
Mhm.
somebody I know, someone who's close. I'm like, I tell them, and then I go, nano me, and
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, something else that can help is doing a 1, 2, 3 countdown, saying, "Okay, I'm going in 3, 2, 1, nano, nano, nano." Right, saying that sort of thing, so giving them an extra couple of seconds to acquire you as a target.
Mhm.
Another thing that can help is keep in mind your Ana and your Mercy's line of sight, and make sure that they're still able to see you, so that you're not just running off
Mhm.
into Narnia. Another thing that can help is that when you after you call it out, and you also press I have my ultimate button, dash up in the air, so that that isolates you
I
from your
do try
team.
that a lot. I do
Mm-hmm.
dash.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I mean, you are correct. It is going to happen less often, but there are things that you can do, and it's still best to get into the habits of trying the combo, so that you go up a couple hundred SR, and they do it a little bit more often. Now you're in those good habits already.
Yeah,
And when it does happen, then I mean, if it doesn't happen, then don't worry about it. Just go for a Blade without it. And if it does happen, then yes, that's fantastic. You got a little extra bonus, right? So think about you're doing all of that not for a guaranteed combo, but for a 30% chance of getting a combo, right? Which is
yeah.
better than 0. Okay, here focusing on Hog for some reason, like we said.
Objective is mine.
And then in that
Be
time,
quick
Genji
about
just
it.
won the fight for them. Okay, dashing a bit late, watch his health bar. So yeah, that fight we definitely could have bladed and done a lot with it. And that could have been our win potential there.
And I think I then died this one.
Okay, deflect. Note that you can deflect, in case you weren't aware, you can deflect
Have to be
Reinhardt's.
looking at him. Yeah, Reinhardt's.
Yeah, just gotta be looking at him.
I was trying to escape, and I was like, I know Junk's gonna be shooting at me from that direction, so I like tried to preemptively avoid it to get out.
上等だ。
And
Okay.
yeah, he was left side. I was like trying to gauge Reinhardt, Dash versus random Junkrat.
Yeah, it's just in this situation. Oh wait, firstly, wait, 1 second. Are we? Other thing is that we're look at when we're engaging here. Sorry, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Major issue. Before you push, you always need to turn around and check, do I got my team? Right? Because this is just feeding at the moment. That's what this is. Because there's zero chance we win this. Additionally, once again, this is just awareness because Junkrat isn't near us whatsoever or even looking at us or shooting at us. So us being afraid of Junkrat isn't applicable in this situation. And then also, I would still take the immediate threat of Reinhardt, who is on top of you swinging. Because Junkrat could just miss you as well. Oh.
Yeah, that was bad.
No, don't blade. Oh, yeah, we're good. We're not doing it. Good.
I debated heavily on that one.
Yes, it's good that you did, and why is it good that we didn't?
Well, there's Genji would have just deflected on me, and random junk spam, and nobody's near me.
Well, so I would disagree. I think this would have been a decent time for Blade, but the thing is that we had already won the fight. There would be no reason to Blade because we already have 2 people. We've talked about that in the past? No. Watching kill feed and how to tell whether or not you've won or lost a fight or no.
Yes, I have been that more. Doing that quick math does sometimes. Like I said, I'm trying to do a million things at once, and sometimes I miscount.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, that happens, and it's just working on it, and over time that'll come better. But at like during that fight, we were up 2 people, and we had no other disadvantage, which just means that we just win that fight. Other thing is what just happened in kill feed there.
Res.
Res. So
right. Anyway, we might actually lose this fight.
So watch this. Oh, what do we see on our screen?
Mercy beam.
Beam, and we walk right past her, right? So awareness, right? Because Mercy just hides and then gets the res off from behind, and whereas if we turn around and we see her, then we 1 secure the kill, and 2 get another kill for free, right? Because this is just a very easy free kill, right? So once again, awareness coming into play. Okay, we kind of disengaged from the fight for a little while there. There wasn't really a reason to just sit there. Okay, good kill.
I am ready.
As a fun spot for a couple of spots for you here, you can sit right here if you want to. If you want to just hide for just above them, you can sit right here on both sides. So right there and right here. I always love to find these sorts of spots because I think they're really fun. Also, you can stand on top of these. So if you wanted to on both sides. So if you want to hide here while they're walking in, you can do that. You can do that over here on this on this bookshelf as well. Same thing over on this side. Same thing over on this side.
Okay. I actually did not know that.
Oh, poop, what am I doing? Alright, so we do got Blade. Okay. So, firstly, once again, we're ignoring the res. Team comp dictates playstyle. They got a Mercy, gotta watch for the res, right? Because if we are not watching for the res, then that's just a free kill that we're giving them when we could watch for res and then deny res and get an extra kill if we're baiting her, right? So what we can do is pretend to walk away like we're not paying attention or something like that, and then she goes for it, and then we turn around and we kill her. That's sort of idea. Or just watching it, so if she tries for it, we can get her. Additionally, what would be an issue with this Blade currently? Well, firstly, what's the issue with this engagement?
Everybody spread out again.
Yeah, this is essentially a 3v5, right? as of the current moment. McCree and Mercy are all the way back here. These guys aren't in the fight, so this is an already lost fight that we're engaging into. And then on top of that, what are we about to do? What are we about to do in a second here?
Dash and try to kill the Mercy.
We dash into this small room, which now makes it a if Lucio and Ursa are in there. Now what is this?
A 5v1.
5v1, right? Who wins 5v1s?
Nobody.
Well, the 5, right?
Yeah.
Not you is the answer,
Probably.
right? So therefore, don't engage in a 5v1, right? Gotta watch the kill feed. Gotta watch the just what the heck is happening around you. Where's your team at? Look around yourself. And once again, that's awareness / aggression, because your awareness dictates your aggression, right?
Mhm.
Have we ever talked about aggression scaling at all?
No.
No. Okay. So aggression scaling is essentially a tool to monitor when and how aggressive should we be at any particular moment, right? And essentially how the tool works is you imagine that you have a scale. And at 50% is your neutral. You come into each fight at 50% most of the time because nothing's different. Everything's usually neutral. Then you adjust downwards to 0, which is super passive, and upwards to super aggressive, which is 100. And you adjust upwards with advantages and with opportunities, and you adjust downwards with disadvantages, with danger, and with a lack of resources. So to define a couple of those for you, advantages, something, there's a lot of different types of advantages, but something as simple as kills, right? Let's say you're up a person, you go from 50 to 60% aggression, right? You can just play a little more aggro, go in a little further, get away with a little bit more, do a little bit more damage, right? Then you get 2 people, now you go from 60 to 70, 3 people, 70 to 80, and so forth. And then you also have opportunities. Opportunities would be something like someone's 1 HP. Let me dash in and get super aggressive. Go 100% as I'm dashing in aggro, right? Like we are right now. And then you have things like someone's out of position and you have your blade and things like that, right? Then you also adjust downwards on the scale with disadvantages. So you're down a player, you go from 50 to 40. 2 players, 40 to 30. You have lack of resources. Resources are your health and your abilities. If you don't got any abilities, probably want to play a little bit more passive. If you're 1 HP, you have to play very passive, right? That dictates your aggression. And then finally, danger is like, is there a diva bomb next to you? Are ultimates being used on you? Are you at an advantage in your duel, right? Like what things are causing you danger? If you're in danger, you might not want to be playing super aggro, right? So some things to keep in mind with all of that is that this is very fluid. Don't hard lock into an aggression and stay there for the next 20 seconds. That can happen sometimes, but most of the you might come into a fight and you see, okay, that person's 1 HP, I'm going to dash in and kill him. So you dash in and then you get headshot and now you're 1 HP and you're like, oh snap. So now you have to back out and deflect and you go to 0% aggression. So within the course of 1 second, you went from 50 to 100 to 0. So it's very fluid. It's going to adjust based off of the moment to moment. It may seem like there's a lot of things involved, but as you practice at it, it'll simplify itself as you get used to it. As with like all the things we've been talking about, right? It seems like a lot, but as you practice, then it will get easier because that's how it works. Right? Does that all make sense? Any questions on that?
No, I think it makes sense. Turns it into muscle memory.
Yeah. All right. So main points, quick review and wrap up. So, let's see, Genji. So, ability usage. Couple times maybe where we, like, just dash mechanics could have been better. We've had a bad habit of dashing into walls. Sometimes, like, we don't dash when we could dash. Sometimes we do this where we kill someone and then dash afterwards, right? Which is a bad habit.
I've been trying to work on the clicks and dash combo at the same time, but I do miss that a little. Was thinking of changing like my shoot to like left bumper instead, but then I'd have to change my jump to the left trigger. I am trying to work on like that because I do have a
On
little bit of delay between the trigger and pushing it
yeah.
on the left.
Yeah, it's definitely important to get those fast because you want to. It doesn't want to be delayed. It wants to be fluid, right? So I would maybe look to rework that a little bit, in your settings so it can be fluid. Then besides that, dashing into the floor, right? So we're not going past people. Deflect. Honestly, oh yeah, make sure you're looking in the direction of the people you're trying to deflect damage from, right? Not looking away from them. And then sometimes we're a bit delayed with that or whatnot. And then besides that, overall, it's kind of low to medium priority for you to work on. Blade usage. Make sure that you are not blading in a won or lost fight. Make sure that you are not blading when you have 0 teammates. So it should not be a 1v5 blade. That's never going to work out for you. Look to combo with your teammates. Both A, communicating it with them, but then also B, just using it if they use it. So if Arissa just plops down Bongo, then go ahead. You have a free blade with a combo for free. You don't even have to worry about, like, calling it out if she's already done it, right? And then what else was there? Also add dashes in to mix up your movement, right? So that you're just being a little bit crazier with how you're moving around, and that just makes it easier for you to get extra damage and more movement. Overall, maybe like higher end of a medium, low to medium. Then we have your positioning. Honestly, I don't know if we talked too much. There were a couple times where you could have used cover, right? Oh, don't be too far ahead, but I think that came more to aggression. Did we talk too much about position? I don't think we did.
No, not really. I mean, I did push forward quite a few times.
Yeah, so I would say the overextending, right? But that we can primarily even can come into aggression over positioning, even. So just watch going way too far forwards without your team, right? Overall, low for the current moment. Won't stay low, but you know, or could stay low, but it might not. But just for the current moment. Then we got mechanics. You got to make sure that you, jumping, don't randomly jump if there's no reason to. Crosshair placement, aim at head level. That makes your shots much, much easier. Headshots much, much easier. Aim where you know people are going to be. There's so many times like where we'll come into fights and, you know, they're all over here and our crosshairs over here, or in the wall, or over here, or above them, or below. When we just want to focus it on the big group of people, right? So make sure it's just in the general vicinity of people. Make sure that you're aiming ahead of where you know they're going to move. Keep practicing at it. Put a lot of thought and effort into it because we end up missing a lot of shots. I'd recommend try it free for all. Mess around with the settings until you find something that's comfortable. Let's see what else is there. Target priority, right? Shoot at the easiest things to kill, not the hardest things to kill. And just in general, mechanics we need to get work on them a little bit because we end up missing a lot of shots. And that just means less damage, less kills, less ultimates. Less shots that we're hitting means that we have slower time to kill, and that greatly reduces our kills, and just that means we're going to be missing out on a lot of value. Overall, I would say medium-high priority for you to work on. Pretty important. Right, then finally, we got your awareness/aggression. Awareness/aggression. Pay attention to what the heck is happening in kill feed. Are we up or are we down? Watch that, and just pay attention. As a reminder, 1 to 2 is an advantage or disadvantage. 2 to 3 is a won or lost fight. Pay attention to your health bar, request healing when you're low. Pay attention to your audio awareness and your visual awareness. Put effort into listening if that's the thing you're focusing on. Then you go off of that, right? You also have your aggression, right? The aggression scaling, I just talked about it, so I don't have to restate everything. Just adjust your aggression scaling, right, based upon the situation, right? What's going on around you. And then overall, I would say that goes to probably maybe like a lower end of a medium high. And then also, what was the other thing I had in my mind? I had something, but I forgot. All right. So to put that all in order for you real quick, number 1 is your mechanics. Number 2 is your awareness / aggression. Number 3 is going to be your blade usage. Number 4, ability usage, and then we did positioning for the current moment is not really an issue, which I think you said that was the one you were focusing on before.
Yeah, that's what I've really.
Which,
when I can focus on one thing, it's been a lot of positioning.
yeah, and so I mean that seems to be paying off a little bit because in that last game it didn't seem like a massive deal. Sorry, besides the overextension, which we can kind of go to aggression on a little bit, kind of pair it with that. All right, any questions?
I did think so. I have had a few games where it's like either Sim or Torb. What am I supposed to do against them? Because there was one on Hollywood. It was one of the cart maps, and they had a sim up, and anytime I tried to push in, I'd either get lasered by turrets, lasered by her. If I tried to stay back, I felt like I wasn't doing anything. What am I supposed to do against those? Because like I'll turn a corner and lose 100 health in like a half a second.
So, firstly, right, what's the biggest threat against this? What makes Sim and Torb a threat against you?
Sim charge her turrets.
Primarily both of their turrets, right? Torbjorn turret and Sim turrets, they auto target you, and that means that it's very easy to track you through like your jumping area, your movement, and makes it because that's one of your biggest survivability is your movement, right? And that just makes it very easy for him to tickle you down, right? So look to avoid and take out the turrets. So think through where is Symmetra likely to place the turrets, where's Torbjorn likely to place his turrets. Scout for them, so don't just blindly walk around the corner and there's the enemy team is there and we're just like do oh I'm dead, right? Don't do that. Scout for it, right? Come on a different angle, look around. Okay, where's turret? Okay, I see the turrets, right? And then you can help them from a distance, right? Okay, there's a Torb turret, let me take it out, right? You could even be out of range of it, and then once it's gone, then the threat is eliminated. Torbjorn's just any other character. It's just like you're playing against a McCree or a soldier or whatever, right? Or a Hanzo. Symmetra, same thing. You can, if you need to, take a different angle, take an off angle. I don't know if we talked about that very much, but take a different angle, take out the turrets, right? So if turrets are lined up against here, right? If turrets are lined up against here, we can, instead of just turning and running in the corner, we can peek, shoot, and then we get healed, and then we can engage, or we can do something like this and then shoot it, and then we engage afterwards, right? Because then once we eliminate that, the greatest threat to us is gone, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
I think that's it right now. I know I have a lot to work on, and I mean, it does seem like I'm going up. So, like I said, I started at like 26. I hit 2965, so I did back down to 2784. But it does fluctuate. Like I said, a lot of Smurfs in this rank that I am trying to overcome, and I am trying to get to the point where I can fight them, because I don't like the excuse of there's Smurfs in your games, because if you're good enough to climb, then you should be able to kill him, in my opinion. So
yeah, it's definitely not easy. The other thing to note as well with that is that overall, statistically, though it's not fun, statistically, if you're playing enough, it's a non-factor, because you have what, one more, so 1 in 6, right? It's what was that? 100 divided by 6 equals, you have a 16% you have a 16% more chance to have a Smurf on the enemy team than your team, but that also means that you have a 16% chance to have more leavers on the enemy team and more throwers on the enemy team if you're not throwing and leaving, right? So that kind of evens out those games to where it's not really, ultimately it's not super it's not going to be really impacting your wins and losses in the long run. It can in the short term, but not in the long run.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. Well, recording is done.